Hey, welcome back to another J Beaverton video. This is going to be a little bit different, in fact, way different than anything I've ever done before. Cleaning out my NES, Super NES, so here it is, right here. So, I've already unscrewed the screws. If you look at them they look more like, it's a very odd screw because it's like an Allen wrench, but like a screw combined. It's very interesting to me. I've already unscrewed everything, so let's go and remove the top gently here, gently. You see the reset button is gone. And that's it. This is our entitled system here. I've let it yellow, unfortunately, because I'm old. It's hard to keep track of everything when you're old. I'm sorry, folks. Alright, if you want to remove the reset button to clean everything out, there's a little spring here. You have to pull that upwards like this. And kind of push in. I think to get it removed. Hold on. Oh, yeah, push it a little bit. And then try to kind of, okay, it's like a spring on the other side here, so let's just be very gentle. That's how we try to remove it. Okay, secret is you have to remove the pull first. We're going to clean that later on. Let's just put that to the side. And then the reset switch, which again could use some cleaning. So we're going to put that to the side as well too. It's actually not that dirty. I've owned this for about, 15 years now. Look at that. Interesting stuff. I'm actually going to grab a kind of a duster here and see what I can do to clean some stuff up here. Give me a second. Oh, look at that. These are the controller mounts that add to this here. You can see that is where I don't want to like mess too much with that, so I'm just gonna put that to that side while I dust some stuff here out. Here, I'm gonna use a different cleaning device on that part. So, unfortunately, I don't have any compressed air at this time, so I can't use any on that at the moment. But it's not too bad. I'm just gonna again clean up the inside here. And they kind of repurpose stuff as is. Oh, okay. Luckily, the controller parts have that little part on either side where you can just kind of put them back into the grooves here. And I didn't want to move too much. So that's good. That's very good, actually. Just a little more cleaning. Alright, I've got a piece here. You probably want to... It's not the right piece to use for this, but you know, it's something. Even though it's probably not the right thing to do, but just to kind of preliminary get the gunk out of there, you know. So we'll see how that works. And then I've got a smaller tool here to work on the sides. And then work on that part there. Let's grab a microfiber cloth and let's see if we can kind of clean that up a little bit. I might use some Q-tips later on. I'm just worried about the Q-tip like fabric kind of getting stuck in there a little bit. So just doing our best here, doing our best to clean up, make some clean moves here. So let's go ahead and stop with this for the moment. It looks fairly clean. Again, but it's been a while, so I don't want to mess too much with this. I may get into this part of it later, but we'll see what happens. So top back on for the moment, just to kind of keep it. I've also taken the liberty to open up one of the Nintendo games, SimCity. Everything we played as kids is on a board like this. Amazing, isn't it? Isn't it? Dust it out a little bit. I'll take my microfiber cloth and then kind of scrape downwards, because I was taught via YouTube video that if you do it sideways, it doesn't help as much. If you use a microfiber cloth like this, just be gentle, just kind of pull downwards. I think you can clean out a lot of the unnecessary gunk that's in there. I'll probably do some of the same thing with other games I've got, just to try to make things easier, make things work. It's gonna be a time testing thing that gets done. And let's dust out the cartridge just to, get it done. Nintendo games have the clips up here, but you have to remember to screw the pieces back on. And with very small screws here, put them back in like this. Fortunately, my screwdriver it's adequate, but not quite adequate enough because it doesn't hold. It's not magnetic, so it doesn't quite hold to it. But it works fairly well if you know what you're doing. You can even use probably your hands if you really wanted to. Just take the screwdriver out, just to like really severely tighten. Not severely, but just tighten it enough to where it's not a problem. We're gonna keep going and see what else comes up with the other Super Nintendo games. So let's keep rocking and rolling. Final Fantasy II, the game that started it all for me. Actually, I'll show you how we do it with the screwdriver here. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. We haven't put the Super Nintendo together yet because I want to kind of clean up all the Super Nintendo games before I put together the Super Nintendo, just to cover my bases and just make sure everything's good. Plus, I bought an attachment for the Super Nintendo that hopefully will make it better. We'll see how it goes. So, I don't know, sometimes better is to work with your hands than it is to work with a screwdriver. Especially if the screwdriver doesn't fit. Because it's already like loosening up a little bit, so bear with me here. I love this game, by the way. It's great. Set me on my course to retro gaming glory. Of course, it's proving a problem, and most older games are. Bought this from a now probably defunct place called Funko Land. I doubt that it exists anymore, but hey, I'll look it up. Oop, no. Survived this much. Hopefully it'll survive much more. Not sure where I left off before, but this is the inside of a Super Nintendo game. Basically, it's all contained in this little board, and of course, you got all the other accoutrements here. I don't know the names because I'm an idiot. But I've just been taking this microfiber cloth and just doing this. This one's actually in pretty good shape. Doesn't have much corrosion on it that I can see. Also, the battery. That's an important thing too. Is if for a lot of save games, if you have a battery that's in there, you want to replace, you can replace it. It actually does. Looks like it comes loose to a degree. You might be able to replace it. I'm not sure. Hold on. You probably could replace it if you have the exact small tools too. If your battery ever did die. Luckily, none of mine have because I didn't use them so infrequently. So, but yeah, that's the inside of a Super Nintendo part. Now I'm gonna screw it back together again and keep on cleaning my games here. Like I said, this one's in pretty good shape. It's actually Super Mario Kart. Old school stuff there. So let's keep working. Here's another Super Nintendo cartridge. If you notice the battery, sorry for the focus, the battery is in a different configuration on this one. It's the latch is there vertically instead of horizontally. So again, just be careful if you're going to replace the battery. It looks like it'll just slide. Oops, sorry. It looks like it'll just slide out of here on the top there, but you've always got those two kind of pins there holding it in together on that side here. So again, this one's in pretty good shape too. This is the Illusion of Gaia. If you ever played that. I actually haven't. I think this is my wife's game, so I'll just clean that for her. So yeah, we're moving right along. Hey, it's Luffy and the Fortress of Doom. One of my favorite kind of sleeper RPG games. I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it. I beat it. Of course, again, since one of my favorite games, of course, it's like the dirtiest one. Like Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 4 was. Let's open her up. I already did, but I took the screws out, so let's do that here. And, ew, disgusto. Look at that. Someone decided to either somehow put rusty water in there. Maybe my brother was mad at me one time, but looks like it just got on the cartridge. Let's flip over the board itself and see. It's kind of wedged in there. Oh, that's not pretty at all. This is actually probably the worst one I've seen so far. I'm definitely going to clean this up. I'm going to use some Windex on the actual, this part here. This part I'm probably just going to try and dust. I don't see too much corrosion. I see some corrosion here. I'm trying to clean that. Definitely some corrosion there. You can see that there also. Sorry, it's hard to maneuver with just one glove on. I apologize here. The back of the board doesn't look too bad. Again, the corrosion's there, so we're going to try and clean that up. So, yeah, time to clean and clean and clean. I won't subject you to me cleaning it because it's kind of very tedious. I'm just going to use my microfiber cloth and some good old elbow grease. So, wish me luck. Alright, we finally come to it. Final Fantasy 3. 6, I know. Final Fantasy 6. Anyway, but why is it that all my favorite games that are so dirty? Well, the back isn't that dirty, but yeah, the top is a lot of corrosion here. Definitely on the sides. Definitely someone spilled something on this. It wasn't me. I didn't spill anything on this. But, took the screws out. Let's open her up. Careful. Actually, the inside isn't bad on this one, but look at the size of that board. This board is bigger, the biggest board I've seen on a Super Nintendo game. Hold on. Put that down. Look at that. Size of that board. It's actually, no, it is one of the biggest boards because, I mean, what they did with the sprite level and the chip. Where is it? I can't recognize it. There's a chip somewhere around here that does the Future James. Put up that chip that I'm talking about. The Super Nintendo that makes the stuff go zoom and the backgrounds go ping and all the stuff. Put that up for me, would you? But yeah, that chip is in here somewhere. Anyway, not much corrosion on the inside, luckily. Still gonna clean it, dust it, over that. I am using a glove. It's probably good to use a glove if you're doing this yourself because it keeps your oil from your hands off of the actual stuff. Again, another battery if you need to replace anything for save files. So yeah, let me just go ahead and start cleaning it up. Looks like most of the corrosion is on the outside of the cartridge. Nothing much on the inside, so that's good. Yeah, it just looks dirty on the outside, but I'm gonna clean the outside too. So yeah, moving on through. And I think the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up the Super Game Boy cartridge. So that should be the biggest one of all. So I think that has 4 screws. So cut away. Alright, we come to the Super Game Boy, which not a lot of people had. I bought it, but then I didn't get very many Super Nintendo Game Boy games, or just regular Game Boy games, for it. I don't remember playing many on there. I may try to play put some images up, because I can't do streaming or anything like that at this point. So I'll put some images up if I ever get it working. But this is the interesting thing when I took the screws out. Take the top off. This is where the Game Boy game goes. Of course, you got the board, which is larger, about the same size as an RPG board, but there are extra screws on there that they didn't tell you about on the video that I watched. Now, they look like ordinary small Phillips head screws, so luckily I have a small screwdriver set. Thank you, Dad. Let's see if I can find the right one here. This looks like it might be the right size. It's a flathead, but it might work for the Phillips head. We'll see. It's gonna work. It does. Looks like it's working fairly well. Be very gentle. It's a good way to clean everything, just to get it out, get the gunk out, get the dust out. So that's fairly easy. Just do it like that. I know you can't see it because my hands are in the way, but just lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Make sure you don't confuse the screws. Confuse the screws, it rhymes. Okay, now we should be able to take this out. Now, I'm curious to see, I'm going to grab it with my other hand here, so see if I can remove it. It doesn't remove. I think we just needed to do that to remove it from the actual backing of the thing here. So, not much corrosion that I can see. Unfortunately, cleaning this part, you can see in there, you're going to need a Q-tip to probably clean the prongs. There are some prongs. I'll get as close to the camera as I can, but there's some prongs in there you probably have to use a Q-tip for. Just be careful and not rub too hard. You're going to leave elements of the Q-tip in that section, which will interfere with the connectivity. So, we're going to clean this up and then put it back together, and then I'll move on to the next game, which will probably be Link to the Past, because I kind of want to open that up on camera. So, see you in a second. Alright, probably the last game I'm going to open on camera, Legend of Zelda Link to the Past, one of the best Super Nintendo games ever made. I enjoy Final Fantasy VI, but for like just mass appeal, this one has it. I've already unscrewed the screws, not a lot of corrosion, a little bit, as you can see there on the outside, but let's open her up. You know what, I was kind of disappointed by the size of this board. It's going to be a big board like Final Fantasy VI. It was not. Typical size of normal board, of course the battery. Only that one game was vertical, or not vertical, horizontal, that we saw, so... Oh, I got those flips. Horizontal, vertical, right, the horizon, okay, vertical. And most everything else is horizon-based. Yeah, we're going to clean this up and probably do a little bit of cleaning here, because there's some, like, some molding there. I don't know if it's molding or discoloration, but it usually cleans up with some Windex. If you do use Windex, do not spray it on this. Just use dusting, air compression, and maybe the cloth to clean this. Do not spray anything on this at all if you want your games to work. So, hopefully I'll be following up with the closing of the Super Nintendo. Okay, I'm done with all the Super Nintendo games, so I thought I'd show you the inside of a Nes game. NES. Mickey Mousecapade. Mickey Mousecapade? Who designed this game? Satan? Yeah, there's a Game Grumps did a thing years ago about this game, where Aaron used this voice and he talked about how bad the game was. Of course, he was imitating somebody else. I didn't know who that was, but whatever. Guess stay on. I'll clean it up later. But look how small this board is comparatively to the Super Nintendo ones we've been looking at lately. It's so small. You know, as a kid, I thought that the whole internal board was like bigger than this, but it's not. It's all it took to put the simplistic game like this together. I do have NES of Legend of Zelda, not the gold cartridge, but the kind of the remake one. I may open that up. We'll see. But it's currently inside my Nintendo, so I don't want to mess with that right now. So yeah, that's it. Look at that. But yeah, I'm curious to open up the Zelda one to see what the battery looks like. So maybe I'll do that. We'll see. Alright, let's put this thing back together. I had to get a little bit of a distance to the appropriate angles to put this thing back together. Yeah, there it is. Let's put the controllers back. So this should slide in fairly easily there. Very good. I've been told by videos I've seen that this is going to be the hardest part to do. From what I've seen, let's take the spring out first, and then you slide. Hold on here. Make sure I get it right. You slide this part in first through this part here with the ridges and whatnot. And apparently, you want to put the spring, I think, to this side, the shorter side up. I want to say like that. We'll find out. And we have to put it into back into the cartridge. Flip it over first and put it back into the cartridge section. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I've never done this before, reattaching stuff, so we'll see how it goes. Because apparently it has to fit back in here somehow. I don't think that's right. Let me try again. Hold on. Let's flip it around and put it this way. Let's try that. Let's try that configuration instead. If you can see that. All right. Now let's slide that back in. And then put this back here like this, because it has to be able to, it should be able to eject the cartridge like that. Alright, I'm sorry I had to do that off camera, but there's a little groove in the, I'll put it this way, see if you can see it. There's a little groove here where the small end of the spring pin goes. The large pin goes into a little compartment underneath this section here. Unfortunately, I broke part of this off when I tried to put it in, so thanks, other Super Nintendo guy, who led me down the garden path of that. So I'm very annoyed at that. But we're doing the best what we can. I'm not going to tape it, but the reset button is springy like we wanted it to do before. Again, it's still kind of messy, so just make sure it goes into the groove. Hold on. And we've dislodged it. Again, because I ended up breaking a piece off because of that Super Nintendo guy decided to give me erroneous information about it. So we try to put it back in again. I may have to end up repairing this because it may not be able to hold the pin anymore. In fact, yeah, it does not want to hold that pin. In fact, I'm cracking the superstructure as I'm doing it. Just don't force it. Alright, but yeah, that's how basically I do it. I'll come back with it fixed, okay? Thanks. Alright, I got it back in. I had to add some electrical tape because of the kind of the brokenness of this, so it's still in decent condition. Reset button still works, I just have to be more gentle with it, so but now I know how to repair it if I need to. So let's just put it on the top and then readjust everything here. Make sure the reset button is in place. Make sure that it has cylinders there. Just want to double check, make sure I don't want to reopen this thing unless I absolutely have to. It's shortly enough anyway. Top should fit back in place. Alright, and then turn it back over, put the screws in. It's a shame that I ended up damaging it. I wish that guy had, I don't want to call him out on Twitter or YouTube or anything. It just annoys me that somebody wouldn't like put their hand, like he put his hand right in front of where I needed to see to be able to figure out how to put that back in. And I don't know. Maybe I'll go dislike his video later. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm annoyed, but that's the way it is. Especially working with older systems like this. You never know how good you're gonna do, how bad you're gonna do. Especially putting screws back in. That screw's kind of messed up. I'll get back to that in a second. Let's see if I can fix the ones I can fix here. Hold on. I don't want to do it too tight because again, I may have to reopen this to do more repairs on it. I'm not going to give it up because I love this system. It's one of my favorite systems of all time, if not the favorite. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. That's the way it goes. And that is that. I don't hear any shaking. I don't hear any shaking going on. So yeah, next time we'll be plugging it in and see if everything I went through is worth it. Be right back. Yes, I got it working. I did it. I did it. Cue Ozymandias from Watchmen saying I did it. Oh, it's so good, isn't it? Oh, man. Hey, all my save points are still here. Let's start from the beginning, okay? Let's just play a few levels, okay? Yes. What? Bowser? Who? What the? That's great. I love this game so much. You know, instead of subjecting you to me playing it, I'm just gonna pause it right here. And you know what? I may come back with some more Super Nintendo games. Maybe Final Fantasy. Maybe Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Who knows? Whatever. But hey, thanks for watching. I fixed my Super Nintendo, and I will see you folks later. J. Beaverton, out. Bye-bye.